Hey, Dr. Fred here, Chiro United podcast. Again, see, man, consistency counts. Hey, first of all, before I talk to our amazing guests here, we quit doing, well, we didn't really quit. Dean faded off and Joe faded off, and here I'm flying solo again. Hello. However, you guys were a little upset, and you said, man, let's get them started. And then, you know why we started again? Because you stopped asking us. That's not a good sign. It's when you stop asking us, we're like, oops, we're in big trouble. So here we go, fired up again. But today, I'm really excited here because we have Dr. Chris DeCarlo, Lauren Mykalcio. Actually, they're certified, not only certified CBP, but you guys also coach in elite. You've been elite for a few years, but more importantly than that is what you coach. Number one, who you are and what you're doing in practice. Number two, what you coach in elite, what your responsibility is there. And you guys are the lifetime coaches because you are doing things that are literally unheard of with lifetime patients in the profession. Between 95 and 100% of your patients move into lifetime care and stay in lifetime care. And it's just really, that is practically unheard of in practice. So I'm really excited to have you guys. Your purpose is to bring this out to the profession and really help create more chiropractic believers and lifetime patients than we've ever done before to make an impact, not only in the profession, but in humanity. So how's that introduction?
That was good.
That was great. Thank you for having us.
That's right. In my head, man, and it's all true.
That's good stuff. That. Just keep going.
Yeah, how cool is that?
So good stuff.
So anyway, tell a little bit about your journey, because to understand where you started and that it is possible, but where you started to give them a reference point, and then we'll talk about what you're doing today for really unprecedented things. So where did it start for you guys?
Well, and where did it start? It started from
prior to elite, you mean?
Prior to elite. It started from new patient, where the focus was constant new patients, and our focus was getting people into the program, getting them through corrective care, and that was our overall goal. So patients would come in, we'd get them into the program, get them through corrective care.
What percentage you think of the new? Well, first of all, you were heavy marketing.
Yeah.
You had 4 or 5 marketing people driving them every day. Tell about that.
Exhausting.
It was painful.
Yeah, that was just stress. It was just constant events and new patients, and we had, how many marketers do we have? Like 4 or 5 at one point.
I call 3.5, 4.5. We had one that wasn't so good. Just a half. But it was painful. It was a lot of work. It was constant phone calls and constant statistics and who's doing what, and without them driving new patients into the office, the numbers would drop, and then we'd have to go talk with them. It was
stress,
pushing that boulder uphill constantly, and it was always on us. Mm-hmm. So it was bad, and you'd see all the new patients come in, and then people would be finishing up their program, and we would just be blown away by the inability to keep patients, and we couldn't figure out why. We were just lost. That was it.
That was the most frustrating.
But then they would quit.
Yeah, because their focus was when is my correction done, or when's my X-ray, and when they were they were using chiropractic, they didn't believe in chiropractic, like you had said. So
that was the most frustrating part, is when I was always anticipating when they would ask me when they're done. And it was like, they just weren't incorporating it in their lifestyle. And the most frustrating part also before elite and learning all these tools was when a family would come in the office and one person was getting adjusted, and I thought that they understood, how chiropractic worked, and their family would be sitting there in the waiting room, not even thinking about getting checked or incorporating this into their life. So I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how to communicate that to someone. So that was so much frustration for me.
Well, and I went through that for years too, until I started going outside of chiropractic. Most people know that story, where it's like people would say, Doc, I believe in chiropractic. Man, I've been going to chiropractors 30 years, go once a month. And you're like, great, I can already see your posture. We haven't even done an exam yet. And then you look at their x-rays, phase 3 degeneration, do a consultation around 3 different drugs, and they're saying, I believe in chiropractic, yet they don't look any different than anybody else. And everybody has, doc, I've been going once a month for decades. And then you're like, great, because what's their impression? Once a month. Once a month maintains my subluxated spine. It's just so true. Like, really, you're a believer. Okay, now we got to push this boulder uphill again.
Yeah, and you got to change, and you got to start. It's harder to work on those people, change their beliefs because they've been so embedded in the wrong way. It was tough.
Well, and that's really key what you said, and we're going to talk about human behavior on that. So when you're sitting there needing 4 or 5 marketers, 3.5 marketers, what was your day 1, day 2 like? Like, what were you focused on? I mean, we know correction, but what were you talking about in a consultation?
Just their pain, which was painful for me in itself, because that's not really what chiropractic is about, but that's what we were taught, and that was our focus, was their pain. And then once they're out of pain, it's like you got to start that cycle all over again, and then they thought they were done. So it was just this constant cycle.
We're just talking about x-rays.
Yeah.
That's it.
That was the focus of the change.
So when you say you were talking about pain, because I know this is a pattern in a lot of management groups, and that's when you said that's what we were taught. You were taught that by management groups?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did they, and I don't know this question, but I know this is common mantra. Did they tell you to give people what they want and then teach them what they need, something like that? Like, talked about their pain at first, then try and give them something different later?
Right.
Yeah, it was like get them in, get them into the system, and then try to educate them while they're in the system. Right. Try to change their beliefs while they're on your table for 45 seconds or whatever the case may be. It was definitely pound them through the door, get them in, focus on and it was always on degeneration and in stage 3 and stage 4 and fear and fear.
True.
And it was like it's just very uncomfortable.
Right. So, and you made an interesting comment earlier, is once you teach them one thing, you start one thing, it's already embedded in them.
Right.
And so how many do you think, because obviously you still had successful practice, what percentage of those patients think actually went through in a lifetime? I mean, you started them on pain, even if they went through correction, what percent of all the new patients you had went in a lifetime care, you think?
10, maybe 10%.
You're going to make me cry.
You're thinking about all those files before digital.
I know.
I'm visualizing them all now. I'm just going to go lay down. Man, that's probably maybe 20% of the people after correction. I mean, 30 would be like tops.
Like on a good year.
Right. It was bad.
30 is almost unheard of. So that means
I don't think it was that high.
I was like,
it was 10 to 20.
It was low.
If we were lucky.
It was bad.
Here's the thing. I mean, here's how you tell, gang, for those people who are listening. I mean, I'm an old schooler, so remember all the files.
Yeah.
God, okay, now we don't have that paper, but if you went through your computer in the last year, go back in the last year and then look what percent of all those new patients are still with you. Well, more than a year if you look back 2 years. So or 3 years would probably be it. What percentage of those patients are still with you from 3 years ago?
I do this. I do this on a quarterly basis. So it's definitely 80% plus. So far this year, it's been everybody that's been started and through the program have gone into wellness. But it's definitely over a 3-year period. It's 80 to 85% for sure, no question about it.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. So you're talking about 3 years, or in the last few years?
In the last 2 years, probably.
2 years. Okay. Yeah, because lately it's been even higher.
Yeah.
Like this year, it's you said so far it's 100%, and it's back to the last quarter of last year or the last half of last year.
90%.
Yeah, it's 90+% for sure. Because I like to
refine the system. So what I really want to talk about, so now that you know where you came from, and now where you've advanced now, we really wanted to share really 3 secrets, 3 steps. Because obviously, man, we teach this whole patient management. I mean, this isn't a boot camp. This is 2.5 days. So we're not going to spend 5 days on this podcast. However, so in 45 or 50 minutes, you just give them 3 tidbits that we go into way more detail at the boot camps. But if you can share these 3 secrets, 3 tips that can make a big impact, then at least give them an introduction to it. So what's the first real secret that many people may do, but they may not understand or implement to the level that you do? What's number 1?
Well, ours is the office tour. It would be the number 1. Our first little nugget is the office tour. I love it because it starts before the doctor even gets involved, and it's the mindset of the team. And so, as they do the office tour, that they have the understanding of it. Starts, as we go through, we focus on what's different in the office, and we always like to be different. And what was the first thing is
we start at the TV with the correction of the month. So then that is where we'll emphasize a person that had phenomenal results in our office, and we'll focus on the health results as well, because if they did come in with pain and there are other health issues, then we focus on how great that they achieve those health goals in our office. And we always say, and the one thing I like to emphasize that we do different here is, hopefully that will be you someday.
Right.
And that is one thing that we're right there. We'll preface that with, hopefully that'll be you someday, and then move on to the next thing.
Body language, shaking your head, pacing and leading. Gee, you did that naturally, didn't you?
Yeah.
The thing is, when we talked about this, you're future pacing them.
Right.
Because, and this is an old adage, you can't solve the same problem with the mind that created it, number 1. And number 2, imagination is more powerful than willpower. So future pacing them, and what it does, it stimulates their imagination. And there's tons of spiritual laws on creative visualization and all these things, and so really what you're doing is you're putting them in that position that brings hope.
Right.
Not only that, it shows correction month shows pre and post x-rays. Mm-hmm. So you're showing them what you're doing. It's based on correction, and you're talking about their overall health.
Right.
Right.
And that's what the girls know. Never talk about what their pains are on those before and afters or pre and post. It's always about their overall health, how they transition to health so they're relating health to the correction rather than they're already changing the way they think right from that first 10 seconds. And that's what's, we do that.
Well, the important thing is that, and this is human behavior too, I was like you guys, I couldn't find the answer. I was suffering like you guys with new patients. When I practiced, I had to get 40 new patients a month. Otherwise, my volume would go down. It was a little higher volume. So you need more new patients. Otherwise, you lose more, right? People with bigger practices, they just fail faster. But the difference was that you're controlling their focus from the minute they walk in.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So then what else? What other areas you cover on the tour to let them know about families and overall health and lifetime?
Then we hit kids section, and there's some stuff in between, but it's the regular stuff. And then we go roll into the kids section, and the kids section is this is where the kids come to before they get their adjustment or after they get adjustments, and wait for their parents to get adjusted, and then it's where. This is where what is it?
Exactly we always say this is where a lot of parents incorporate chiropractic for their children so that they can keep them healthy naturally.
Right.
That's another thing that we emphasize there.
We focus on keeping them healthy naturally, and drop that little nugget of we take care of lots of children here.
And about health again.
Yeah, and
then the next thing is a lifetime wellness wall, which.
Yeah, and then the wellness.
There. So I'm gonna interrupt you because again, like what you're saying is so casual, but they're controlling their focus again. See, and what you guys may not get is what's so normal for them. Most people don't do it. Like, how many people have a kids section? Well, so many people do. How many people use that in a tour to say we take care of families? Our core value is to keep families healthy.
Right.
Help a child's spine develop normally so I have the best chance of being the healthiest, most successful life. Like right there, you're tuning into the values of a parent. What was that?
I said, oh, I like that. I'm going to use that one now. It sounds good too.
Yeah, that's like a mantra, right? It's parents' responsibility. And, that's the close of the workshop. How many parents feel the responsibility to give their kids the highest chance of the best health and success in their life? Every parent's going to raise their hand. So, and you guys know when you, it's not about the facts that you take care of kids. The emotional hook are the values of the parents.
Right. And
want to give their kids the highest probability of health and success. So right there, here's where we help the health and success of families. They're like, boom, immediately, I want my kids in. You're already getting referrals. So I was getting to that. See that Italian thing? I was getting to this because
I like that.
Do you get comments when you take them through the kids section on the tour?
Yeah, all the time. Oh, you take care of kids here. Oh, I didn't know that. And then, the girls are, they know to just, do you have children? So we're getting that common ground, that belief system. So it's that, a relationship already that we're, which is really important, right? That for sure.
That's huge. By the way, how many kid referrals do you get on day one? Do you see that frequently?
Very frequently. And if I know that we'll bring it up, and then it might not be the appropriate spot right there to ask for that, but then I'll know by day two. Like they'll be getting checked. It's a no-brainer.
It's a system to plant the seed.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have to wait for it to be appropriate, and then they'll always be getting checked, though. Yeah. And my team knows that too. That they can't not be checked. Yeah.
Well, there's a core value. So. But when you plant the seed, the opportunity for the referral always presents itself later in that day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think back to the tour. I know now that they have kids, just because of the tour.
Yeah. Well, that. So, and then what's the next stop on the tour?
The wellness wall, of course, the super awesome wellness wall, and then that I love that wall, and that's where we, that's where I do, and that's where we, we let them know this is where our patients, who understand that and the beliefs of chiropractic incorporate this into their overall life for long-term health, and it's there, it's big, and it's out there on the wall, and you can't miss it. Yeah. They love it, and everyone asks, and they always get excited about it. Yeah, and that that's our biggest hit, for sure.
Yeah. So you guys, you've told me things about this before. What kind of comments do people make at the Lifetime Health Club wall?
How do I get up there? When do I get up there? How do I get up there?
Yeah.
Who gets up there? Yeah.
Who's that for? Mm-hmm. How does someone get on there? And that's, like you said, and this is already changing beliefs. This is before they've even had a pre-consultation. We've already changed. In 3 minutes, we've changed the way they've been thinking for their entire life, and that's why I like it. It's so cool.
Nice. So by the time you get in there, you already have a more qualified patient. The doctor hasn't even shaken their hand yet.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's why office tour.
Yeah. How's the team feel about that tour?
They love the tour.
Yeah.
It's one of our things. We role play tremendously, and and I always listen, and if we have to make little tweaks, but they absolutely. Are you with me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay. Because they love it. It makes them feel confident. It makes them feel special because when you are doing it and patients or minds are getting blown on stuff, they really feel good about it.
Yeah, and I think if you train them, like you role play and have their confidence, they know how to speak now outside the office too on certain things that we touch on in the tour, which makes it easier, again, for referrals and to help the community outside the office. So it's giving them tools also.
Well, that's so awesome, because one of the things we know in leadership, because we teach a lot of leadership things in Elite, is the more responsibility you give them and the more you give them the skill to articulate the purpose, and they can actually build your practice, and they watch the influence of people. What people don't realize, they can say my team's on purpose, but every time a patient walks out, it pokes on their purpose. And systems could ruin the tone of a team, because then the team feels like they're pushing the boulder uphill. But when they have systems that meet their purpose, they become more and more empowered, and then they grow their practice for you.
Yeah.
So true.
Absolutely. That's the best.
Totally awesome. So anyway, that was a scripted response, by the way. So, okay, secret number one, get your tour down. Get your
Absolutely.
Lifetime Health Club wall, tour them through the kids area, and take them through correction of the month. So, and then step two secret, what's the second secret?
Re-exams.
Re-exams.
Yeah.
Hey, man, about that, because most people hate re-exams. So what's what
actually my favorite part.
Before versus right now?
Re-exams before were extra time and bullshit. You know, it was just one thing. You know, I remember sometimes we'd have to do them right at the adjusting table. It's like it was a bad scenario. They were just, if you see re-exams, you see more work. That was the old way. Yeah. You know, that was bad. Now
it's another step in the day.
Another step in the.
You mean check and range of motion wasn't exciting?
Yeah, thrilling.
Like doing your straight leg raise wasn't exciting.
Right. Here. Good. Yeah. All right, good. All right, now they're
no future pacing, nothing. Yeah.
Now they're awesome, man. We get excited when we see them, and we're going to tell you why. What do? We're controlling their focus. You know, go ahead, baby. You got this one.
So how do you do that?
So I'll give you an example. Yesterday we did a re-exam, and of course we're going to go over the comparison sheet, which has all their initial symptoms, and then the questionnaire.
Not back. Has back pain, but what symptoms? What's the main focus?
So their organ systems, like for instance, asthma, acid reflux, bowel issues, increased urination, things like that, sinus issues, all the things that are really affecting their life long term. And then also the questionnaire that also lets me know if they're understanding chiropractic, like what flows through the spinal cord, and what's the most common postural distortion, those type of questions. But then when I go through the comparison sheet, that's when I get to reframe, and then really the most important thing is to raise their energy and raise their state. So for instance, go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's what I was like, yeah, so describe that.
So yesterday, I'll just give you an example. I had a woman there who had asthma. She's been suffering with asthma for her whole life, which we learned on the day one. And then now she's 60% better. So what I would say there and emphasize, so your asthma is 60% better in the last 4 weeks. Like your body is doing what it is doing now, what it couldn't do on medicine, because she's now decreased only to 1 inhaler a week.
What a great one-liner. Hey,
yeah, so
I think they missed that. Say, your body's doing now what?
Your body's doing now, in the last 4 weeks, what it couldn't do on medicine your entire life.
You know what? You just shattered a belief system.
Right.
That's what it is. See, that's what this is about, is shattering old belief systems, controlling the folk. That is a brilliant one-liner. Cool. So tell us what. Yeah.
I got it from you.
Right. So what else happened in that exam?
Yeah. So then, what I'm looking for really is for their energy to I call it like they just become like brighter. Like you can see that they just become so much more happier. Like it's raising them as far as their state. And I go through each and every one of their symptoms just like that. And then
give us another couple examples, just because that was so brilliant. Do you remember another couple with her?
Acid reflux is always a big one when they're off medication. That's always a common one that most people will see in their practice that they can utilize. And you can utilize that same type of verbiage. But with acid reflux, in the last 4 weeks, you're no longer dependent on medication. Like, how does that feel? And then they're like, oh, it's so awesome. They just feel so much better. And then I usually say, I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next 4 weeks and how much your body's going to start to heal, like continue to heal.
Right.
So then it's prefacing them also for the next 4 weeks. Like now they're excited too to go on to the next 4 weeks and see how much their body's going to heal even more.
And every time you take them through an organ thing that's improving, they're getting deeper into their commitment level, because they're getting so excited, so this is this much better, this is this much better, this is this much better. And they're just so excited about what the next 4 weeks are about to control and go over. And then, and I always call a side effect of doing what's right is when they're in a peak state and they're fired up, and I mean, this girl's breathing better, and the acid medicines and the hearts are better and the blood pressure medications are going away. they just become referral machines too, you know, and that's why I love re-exams also. It's a huge tool in our office for referrals.
It definitely gets the conversation also onto other people that they can help.
Yeah.
Well, so there's two things I want to ask you. The first thing, because you run into this, you know, there's people that just believe in the principle and they know people are going to get healthy. There's other people that, you know, they say, well, what about organ problems and research and all this? So you do spinal correction, you get great correction, you're certified CBP. You do monitor organ and health problems every 30 days, basically on your whole practice. Mm-hmm. What's the probability that when you fix the spine, you're going to see organ problems get better?
A huge probability.
Yeah.
When your body's functioning at its optimal level, then yeah.
It's expected.
Yeah.
I don't see organ problems not get better. I mean, how often do you see that?
It's rare. It's rare. It's very rare that you don't see improvement in entire systems in the whole body with corrective care and doing that.
Yeah, I think even if they had like something so severe, you definitely will see at least significant improvement if it doesn't resolve.
Yeah.
You know, which they're happy for in itself too.
Yeah, and usually those people that have those symptoms that really, if they have a disease condition, I mean, not only do you see that get better, but they're usually under care for that simultaneously.
Right, yeah.
Right, and this is really the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It would be a reframe, right? Hey, you've been under medical care for 10 years for this, and in 60 days, you had more improvement in 60 days than you did in 10 years.
Yeah,
right.
And I say that a lot at my table. I have a guy, a 35-year-old guy who had a heart attack, and he's on all these medications, and he's been with me for 5 weeks, and he went back to his cardiologist, and they were just like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm going to the chiropractor, and he's working on my posture. And they were just so blown away by it. So I said, you know, it's crazy that we've been able to do in 5 weeks what you've been trying to do and get your health under control for the last 2 years with this other stuff. So I do that at the table a lot. You know, the chiropractics, referring back to posture and organs all the time.
Well, what a great statement. Now it shows how you talk to your patients, because you said, I'm going to a chiropractor who's working on my posture. It wasn't just going to a chiropractor. Like those two things go together in his mind.
Right.
You know, chiropractic is about fixing your overall spine and posture. Like he has even though that was one condition, when he said posture, he's got a full spine impression.
Right.
So you listen to what is his mindset to say that, and that's why he'll be a lifetime patient.
Yeah, and
he is.
and he doesn't have any pain. He came in because he wanted help with his health, because he was scared where his health was going. He doesn't have a drop of pain, and he's here for heart and health. So it's pretty cool.
Even if we just got his body strong enough to deal with the stuff they have to deal with, it's gonna only benefit them to have the body in proper alignment.
How cool does that feel as opposed to, sorry to interrupt, Lauren.
No,
how cool does that feel?
I'm done.
Then not to have to talk about pain, but now your patients are coming in for organ problems.
It's the best. Pain is tiring.
Yeah, it is.
You have to deal with that more than I do.
I'm feeling it.
Or when you see a patient come in antalgic lean, and you just like, oh God, here we go. Yeah. All right.
So now, so number one, you're controlling their focus. Number two, they're in a way elevated state with something that means a lot more. And you've done the Miss Jones, how's your back pain affecting your life, versus when they come in for overall health. Those are two totally different levels of motivation.
Right.
So also, you get a bunch of referrals. Now you basically fired all your PR people you have almost since practically the first month in Elite years ago. Right. And you're an all referral practice. I mean, you do go out in the community because you want to impact the community, but you're not dependent on that because you live on referrals. Right. What percentage of your referrals do you get just from the re-exam?
You know this.
Yeah, I would say from 80% of our referrals come from inside the internal referrals without us going out and doing anything, or from other doctors. So of the 80%, I would say it's got to be probably right around 50 to 60%, and the rest come from the maybe 40%. It's probably split down the middle between re-exams and the workshop are my two big ones.
Yeah. So here you went from, I friggin' hate re-exams. I do it at the table. To now you create, in a sense, a celebratory experience that focuses on their health, and they get so fired up that at least half of your referrals come from the re-exam.
Yeah. Of the
Now,
internal
you guys like re-exams if you got referrals and people got all fired up? So do you think maybe we need to change the way we look at re-exams or how we do it?
And again, yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of it is the mindset of the doctor when he sees all those re-exams on there. If you're cranky about them, they're going to be crappy. But if you're fired up, man, they're going to be good. It's, you know, it starts the beliefs of the chiropractor, the doctor. Yeah, that's awesome. We love them. We look forward to them for sure.
Well, yeah, and it's the system, because they get all fired up and check range of motion and foraminal compression. You're not gonna, if that's your purpose, to show objective findings, you're not going to stay fired up very long. Hey, if you're fired up about that, you're better than I am. So we'll give you credit. So, man, the new patient tour can get them right into lifetime focus. The re-exam gets them into lifetime focus. What's the third secret?
The lifetime wellness wall, the celebration, right? The party of going from corrective care into understanding the lifelong benefits of getting your spine checked and adjusted and getting their name onto our wall. And the first and most important thing is just get a wall. Just that's the good start.
Yeah. Not a window, it's a wall. So there you go. That's step one. A wall. Now, so what do you guys do exactly for the wall? First of all, you right from the tour. I mean, you talk about a daily visit. You talk about it on the re-exam. You talk about it in the workshop. So your whole team is focused on that one thing.
Right. Everybody's focused. You know, from the second the door opens, everything is to the wellness wall. It's to lifetime wellness. Everything that we say, we do, we speak. It's every move we make is geared towards lifetime wellness. And so the celebration is, you know, loud music, a disco ball, a t-shirt, a water bottle, a bell, a plaque that they sign, and they come over and they stick it on the wall. We take videos, we post it on Instagram and Facebook, and, you know, they ring this bell and they hold their wellness shirt, and we have our own hashtag that makes them part of the community that we've created over these years. So, you know, hashtag, what is it? Wellness Squad.
Yeah, Wellness Squad.
So we have a hashtag that, so if you were on Instagram and put in lifetime wellness or wellness squad, it would be pictures of all of our patients. You know,
how cool is that?
Yeah. So, and then there'd be just, the celebration is big, and of course it hits all the human needs. But one of the side effects of lifetime wellness and the wellness wall that we didn't even know until we finally just did it is the patient, you know, when someone's going on the wall, you know, you have an office full of people who have either gone onto the wall and are now bonding with them, or haven't gone on the wall and want to be part of that. So again, everyone's focus is you're with us now, or when do I get there, or, you know, what's going on there, or if it's a new patient, and I'm really good at, you know, I don't ever turn it down. So when there's 2 or 3 new patients in the office filling out paperwork and it's time to celebrate someone on the wellness wall, I shut the lights, I hit the disco ball, and I just make it a celebration regardless of, you know, if these people are going to think I'm freaking nuts or whatever the case may be. We're just very, very consistent. And we had a guy yesterday who was so focused on his insurance, and it was the funniest thing ever. And he was just like, well, during the tour, he kept, you know, well, as long as my insurance covers this, and she was like, oh, you know, I'll let the doctors know, you know, she knows the whole thing. And we kind of just giggled through it. And then he was like, and then we just knocked out the celebration for someone while he was there. And he's like, what's that? And,
I had to wait. I asked him to wait just a few minutes while we celebrate this person. I'll be right with you. And then the lights goes down, the ball goes off, and the music is on. And it was just so much fun. And
he was like, what do I have to do to get on there? How does someone get, you know? And so it was really cool. So we're, again, changed this guy's focus. Just even a teeny bit was just worth it. So that is what we call the side effect of the celebration. That's why we do it over the top.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. I mean, you didn't change it a little bit. You changed it a lot. I mean, there was a guy that probably wouldn't have committed. And
right.
And now here's the thing, you know, what's my insurance cover? When people say, what's my insurance cover? That's not an objection. It's a belief system.
Right.
Because I believe I should use my insurance. You know what I mean? And here you create this experience because people, and this is where every system in Elite is based on human behavior. And I mean, you guys see it. If you do this, people say and do this. I mean, it works like a machine. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
I totally agree, especially with yesterday, because you taught us that, and we're sitting there, and I said, I'll be right with you. And then as I'm bringing him back when we were done, he's like, how does someone get up there? What's going on over there? And then that just got me explaining the Lifetime Wellness Wall again. Like, it was pretty crazy. It was pretty fun.
So by the end of, that was day one. By the end of day one, was he all hung up on his insurance, or what happened?
Not at all. Not at all.
You didn't even ask him.
No, that was the last question was on the tour.
He paid cash for his exam and x-rays, everything.
You guys don't take insurance, do you? Or do you do insurance?
No, a little bit.
Yeah.
It's the ones we have.
So he's all bitching about his insurance. You already know he's going to have to pay cash. So here's the thing. You're very dynamic in the moment. Like, you know how the system works. You understand human behavior. And you let the systems handle objections by themselves.
Right.
So
I knew it was going to work out.
What's that?
I said I knew he just has to go through the process, and this by the end he'll be fine.
You don't even have to say anything. There's no objection left.
Right.
How cool is that?
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Well, how do I get? You went from what's my insurance cover to how do I get on the wall? Because people love to be acknowledged.
Right.
They want to feel important too. So, and that's the great thing about correction of the month. You do patient of the week, patient of the month, correction of the month.
Right.
The wellness wall, where when you celebrate it in public and people feel acknowledged, you've created a whole new neuro-emotional association and behavior, because now that they get acknowledged, they don't want to leave.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So
and when they get to share in the acknowledgement of other people, now you bring them, and these are 6 human needs, bring them in a level of contribution, which is the highest need. So every time they celebrate someone else's achievement, not only does it connect them in a family, but you're training them not only how to refer, but to contribute. And so you train them how to contribute. The side effect, as you would call it, is people refer more.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also is when we put this one gentleman on, one of our other patients has been there, and she, and when they get that connection, and she's like, "Oh, welcome to the wall. I've been part of this practice for 10 years, and they start saying how long they've been with us. And so it just helps instill that overall wellness, like the community that what we're doing, which is nice. And they start talking about, oh, I just got on the wall, or I've been with them for 10 years, or my kids come here. So it just in the over the top party in the open room area for the celebration opens up so many different things you can't even imagine.
And it changes our energy too, because it's just so fun.
Yeah.
It is pretty fun.
Yeah, that's key. So we just in quick review, we have the new patient tour. So we actually go through that, train your team on the tour in boot camp 1. When you look at day 1, the process you took this insurance guy through, not only did you make an impact with the tour, but I know you also changed his focus with a consultation and exam. So and the way we teach that, it's based on human behavior, and then focused on organs. It's such a bigger picture. You get them from short term and long term. That's basically boot camp 1. So, and then when we go to re-exam in the wellness wall, you guys actually teach that wellness wall and how to do it in boot camp 2. We spend 4 hours on the re-exam and how to make recommendations. So I know you guys originally started in the boot camps, right? You came from another coaching group. You invested in boot camps first, and you came from five PR people, went to the boot camp, ended up joining the coaching. So just to give people the difference, we got the story of where you are. So if you look at, I know it might be a little painful to think back, but you look back at where you are and how you felt in practice. You did your homework, learn human behavior, learn the systems, and then you look at where you are now. What's the difference, and how you feel then versus how you feel now, and what you're doing and how that feels as far as your purpose.
To me, it's like two different practices.
Really
it's two different worlds. It's like being, I don't want to say reborn because that sounds strange, but it's like refreshing. It's like I personally, Sunday nights would be like, oh God, here we go again, Monday.
Stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, just like, I just felt like I was in like a rat race, it was just like so much just going on. And it was just like, after the boot camp, I went there, and it was just life changing in so many different ways. And now the office is like, we came back, and right from the boot camp, we grew so much, just I guess because of whatever happened there, our mindset just opened up to such a different level. And the second that we got back on that Monday, life just became so much more fun. Like the office was fun. It was, again, refreshing, freeing, and just had so much more confidence. And then as you learn this system, you just have the tools to implement it, and it just gets better and better. That's all I can say. It's
some
awesome.
people, I appreciate that. Some people here, God, we grew so much, they're actually afraid of growth, especially in CBP, where it's like, oh my God, more growth, more work. Do I need more teams? Team members, like because we've been through this a bunch. I mean, I've gone through this with hundreds of doctors. What does that growth feel like? Is it harder? Is it more work? Or is it easier and more fun, to you? I mean, I didn't mean to give you that suggestion, but.
Yeah, no,
of course, it's so much easier.
It's easier. It's easier. The days that it's slow are the painful, boring days. The busier you are and the more fun you're having. And it's not, when in the beginning, when we grew, and we grew, fast. I think we grew 50% in the first 3 months, and it hurt because we didn't have all the systems in place because we were just new we weren't expecting it to be so like, oh my God, like that, but then you scaled it up and just grew, and with the systems and everything, it's just so much more. It's less work and more fun than it was being slower than we were. It's effortless now.
And more fulfilling.
Fulfilling is a good word.
For sure, too, because it's like, this is why I went to chiropractic school. Like, now I know how to communicate this to the community, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. When they're focused on pain, that's not why we went to chiropractic school. So now I have the tools to communicate that with families. Which is important.
Yeah, when you're making a difference, when someone brings their 5-day-old baby to you and hands it to you and wants you to adjust it, your mindset and everything is in the right place, and you're making that difference for sure.
And the guy with the flu yesterday too.
Right.
Yeah. They came in diagnosed with the flu and stopped in our office before he went home because he knows he has to get adjusted.
Right.
Like that.
That's a chiropractic believer.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's like what we want. That's really
that's what we have.
Yeah,
yeah, it's way different.
Totally different.
Back pain.
It's so cute.
Doc, my back hurts right here.
Right. I think I'm out over here.
Yeah. And Doc, what did you do to me last time?
Right. Right. That's, what did I do to you? Right. Here we go.
So, and when you grew, like say you went through some pain, but I know you guys obviously, because we worked together. It wasn't the pain of CBP.
No.
It was the pain of handling the volumes in your communication and patient management system.
Right. Yeah.
No,
people get all worried about, oh my God, the traction, we're going to have time. It's not the pain of the CBP part.
No.
The pain is learning how to talk to, 50% more people and be effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was more of a front area thing, not a CBP.
Yeah, how you ran your front
the
desk
systems thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the systems thing, not over by me. I was fine.
Yeah.
It was all me.
CBP guy.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely. It's good. And one of the other things too that I wanted to touch base on, just to put in perspective and the potential of people that they don't ever really think about, is if you add people to your wellness wall, and for example, if you have 200 people on your wellness wall and you're charging $50 or $60 a visit, and they're once a week, you're starting at between $40,000 and $60,000 a month every single month just on guaranteed money for wellness. So it's just another way to look at it, the potential that people can have that they don't really look at it that way. So I like to always kind of point that out. There's a nice benefit to that also, which I think is cool.
Have confidence.
Yeah, really what it is, and this is a mantra to Lee, you should be able to cover your bills, your overhead, and your life with the patients that stay.
Right.
New patient money. And that's the problem, is people are trying to make money, new patients. And that's what gives the uncertainty. That's what gives you the stress, because you need new people to pay your bills, as opposed to when your retention already covers your overhead. When you're monthly lifetimers, you know you're guaranteed. Our bills are already paid before you start. What kind of power is that in your enjoyment in your practice and life?
Well, it's nice because you're focusing on healing. And if you're focusing on healing, man, they just come from everywhere. That's
what you're attracting.
You're
not
attracting
that stress attraction. You know, like I need. There's
no scarcity mindset. It's all abundance, and you just got your wall up, and your people are coming, and it's just fulfilling, and it's you don't even think about the money. That's the best part.
How cool is that?
That is my favorite part. Not thinking about it.
Yeah, it is.
I hate not being stressed.
You've really mastered a lot of these systems. We started teaching about, what, it was a year and a half ago, 2 years?
I think it's over 2 years now.
Yeah. So you've really mastered this in the last couple of years. Now it's so automatic. How many lifetime members do you think you've created in the last 2 years?
I think it's over 300.
Yeah. So how awesome is that, man? You have 300 people minimally monthly. A lot are on once a week. There may be some that are spread out. And obviously, man, nothing is perfect. Not 100% people are really going to stay forever. I mean, people move.
People move, yeah.
But the thing is, if there are people that drop off after a few years, for whatever reason, you're continually replacing them on a weekly basis.
Right.
Yeah, so the number, and you're replacing them faster than people would drop off, right? Because they would stay for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, there's just life. People are gonna move, and so that number is always growing all the time.
Yeah, and and if your focus is on it, it's going to grow, and it's going to be a machine. It's going to grow once you understand the mindset and the systems behind the program. It'll just grow.
How cool is that?
That's the best, and I think
keeping our community healthy.
And and people are getting healthy, and they're changing the beliefs of everyone in your community. It's a win-win all around, for sure.
Well, and so one thing we wanted to do is just also, this is a great opportunity for everybody. I mean, 2018, the thing is, time's going to pass. So you can hear these things and you can do it. The reality is this is just a brief introduction. And, you can do it on your own. Great. If you do, and you plug in a couple things and it works, great. But the reality is, the majority of people, this is going to fade. Definitely want to listen to this podcast at least several times. But also, if your purpose could be better, if you liked what you heard and you feel that this is the type of practice you want to create, you learn systems. Who can do this, Chris? Is this personality dependent and Lauren, or is this?
No, anybody can do this.
For sure.
Trust me.
An elite too. People that you've coached, you watch them plug in these steps and boom, lifetime patients through the roof. So. Yeah. So we're just doing it. This is seriously a one-time deal. You can call me or go to elitecoachingllc.com. Go to the Start the Process tab. Click on it. It's just a brief questionnaire. Had you fill out where you are right now, maybe what you feel your challenges are, and what you'd like to create. And then send that in, and we'll set up a time to talk. And just talk and see, hey, if there's any way this can help you. Great. If not, it's all good. But we will take, number one, 15% off the boot camps. Today is March 9th.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We'll give you till the end of this month, March 30th or 31st. I don't know, what's the 31st month? And then we're also making money back guarantee. If this isn't the absolute best communication and chiropractic program that you've been in, then we'll give you a money back guarantee. So 15% off, money back guarantee, that you can do what Chris and Lauren are doing now. And so fill that out, elitecoachingllc.com, start the process. I'll give you a call. We'll just have a friendly conversation just to build a relationship regardless of what happens. And that's 15% off, money back guarantee. So anyway, final words from you guys. For what you've seen, a number of people go through the boot camps and the coaching. What impact do you think that has on their life? What's your impression? This is unsolicited, by the way.
I mean, I think it's huge. And whenever I'm a big proponent of something, I bring all my tribe with me. So I brought in a bunch of chiropractors that come in, and they're all doing terrific, man. You know, it's changed the way, and even if their practices aren't gigantic, it changes them as people, which is really, it changes everything around you, your dynamic of your relationships, everything. So, I mean, it's a win-win for everybody, for sure.
Cool. Lauren, any final words?
Yes. If you're hesitating, I just think that you should just do it because you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. It's definitely going to be life-changing. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. I promise that you will have no regret going to a boot camp. And I feel like also we're a community, like we're a family, and that we're always there to help you, everybody. We just always want to see everybody do the best.
Well, thank you. And Chris and Lauren, you're at the boot camps, you're coaches, so you'd be there coaching with Chris and Lauren. I think Lauren always has the biggest group, but I never understand why.
Yeah, me neither.
People don't go to my group, but everybody's over at her group. I don't understand. Why is that?
We could just go to lunch then.
Yeah.
Bring me back.
I like that. Well, hey, thanks, you guys.
Thank you
guys for being on this, and thank everybody that follows us. We appreciate it, and let's make this year the biggest impact in your communities, in you, on your team, in your patients, and in the profession.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Love you.
I'll
Bye.
talk to you later. See you later, bud.